the Jedi of Believe, and you're here in the office of the Always Believe House, and we are back. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. Today we're going to review what slope is. Tomorrow we're going to talk about graphing lines and linear equations to get a quick review. Then we're going to rush into the spring semester. So let's get rocking and rolling. Today we're going to be talking about slope, and a magical whiteboard appears, and let's look at what slope is. Okay, what this is, the work you're looking at right now, I'm going to do a few of the problems. You're going to complete the rest for your homework, okay? So before we start doing anything, let's go to the top, and let's write down slope. And just remember, it's y minus y over x minus x, right? Or you could say the change in y over the change in x. Okay, and it's also up or down over right. Okay, so we're going to talk about all those things today. How we get the slope of a line. Which is the constant rate of change of a linear function. So let's look at number 4. Okay, I'm only going to do one of these up here. Something that might help is to put xy. And remember, we're going to do y minus y over x minus x. So I'm going to put my two minuses up here. You usually go with the right to the left on the point. So negative 2 minus 2. Okay, those are my two y's, right? And then I'm going to put my x's. My x's are 1 and negative 5. Okay. Also remember that these two numbers come from one point, right? And these two numbers come from one point, okay? So you need to remember that, okay? You don't put 1 point on top, 1 point on the other. Now that we're going to do the math, I would punch this into a calculator. Hit Control Divide and just type it as is into the calculator. This is going to turn into negative 4 over the two negatives here will make a plus. 1 plus 5 is 6. Which will be negative 2 over 3. So if you do this on the Inspire calculator, you'll get negative 2 over 3. Hit Control Divide to get the fraction. Let's go down to number 7. Okay. We only need 2 points to get the line. We don't need 3. This is kind of like having a table. So identify your x's and y's, and I'm just going to use these 2 points here. And then I'm going to put fraction bar minus minus. Now that I'm going to put my y's on top. My y's are negative 5 and 1. So negative 5 and 1 go on top. My x's are negative 1 and 2. So negative 1 and 2 go on the bottom. And I'm going to go and subtract these, okay, or combine them. Negative 5 minus 1 is negative 6. Negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. 2 negatives makes a positive. 6 divided by 3, the slope would be 2. Or that line would go up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1. Okay? Continuing on, you're going to do the same thing for number 8. Now then, this is a tricky one. So this is going to be kind of tough here. So what we're given the slope. Okay, so we're going to have fraction bar minus minus equals, and our slope is going to be negative 2 over 3. Now then, let's set our slope up. Our y's are 7 and y, so 7 minus y, and our x's are negative 2 and negative 5, negative 2 and negative, didn't do that right, negative 5 and negative 2. So remember, these 2 points are from one point. These two right here are from the other point, right? So make sure you're doing that when you set these up, or you will not get them correct. Now then, we need to group together this part down here, because we're going to have a proportion here. So I'm going to draw an arrow. I'm going to have 7 minus y over negative 5 minus a negative 2 is negative 5 plus 2, which is a negative 3, equals negative 2 over 3. Now then, we need to cross multiply and divide. Okay, so we're going to multiply this and multiply this. Notice that this 3 is going to get multiplied by the 7 and the y. So 3 times 7 is 21 minus 3y equals a negative 3 times a negative 2 is a positive 6. Now then, I'm going to move the 21 over, subtract 21. So negative 3y equals negative 15. Divide by negative 3. and you're going to get y equals 5. Okay, so the key on this one right here, is to set up the problem like this, okay? You want to group these two together to get 1, and then you're going to cross multiply, and you got to distribute this 3 to the top over here, and then just solve it for y. You're going to do the same thing on the next one. This is solving a proportion, but you can't do the ball of this because you have an algebraic expression in the top. So you've got to learn how to distribute and set your cross products equal. You're going to do number 10 the same way. Let's go to a number 11. Okay, on number 11, we need 2 y's and 2 x's. I would pick an order pair with a 0 and both positive numbers. So I'm going to circle these right here. So here are my y's, here are my x's, right? Draw a fraction bar, minus, minus. My 2 y's would be 3 and 1, and my 2 x's would be 1 and 0. Everyone see how I got that? So the 3 and the 1 are together, and the 1 and the 0 are together on the same side of the minuses. 3 minus 1 is 2, 1 minus 1 is 1, so the slope of that table is 2. Ho, 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 ho. You can pick any 2 ordered pairs you want in there. It is always going to give you 2, because remember, your slope is a constant rate of change. Well, let's go to the next one. Same thing on this one. I wouldn't pick the first point because it has negatives. Try to pick a point with a 0 and 2 positive numbers. So I'm going to pick the 0, 3, and to show you this works, I'm going to skip over and pick the 6 and 21. Now then, I'm going to label my x's and I'm going to label my y's. So I'm going to draw a fraction bar, minus, minus. My y's are 21 and 3, and my x's are 6 and 0. Piece of cake, huh? So just put your y's on the top, put your x's on the bottom, put them in the same order. No matter which 2 ordered pairs you pick, you're going to get the same slope because it's a constant rate of change. 21 minus 3 is 18, 6 minus 0 is 6, 18 divided by 6 is 3. The slope of this table would be 3, which means the line would go up 3, right 1, up 3, right 1. Oh, ho, ho. Let's go to 17. Remember, you read a book from left to right, you read a line from left to right. So my first dot to the left is right here. Then I'm going to go up or down. To get to the next point, I'm going to go up and I'm going to go to the right, then count the spaces off. I went up 2 and right 2, didn't I? So my slope is going to be up or down over right. So I went up 2, that's a positive 2, to the right 2, and that's going to simplify to 1, isn't it? Notice on this line, if you went up 1 over 1, you would get back on the line, wouldn't you? So the slope of this line would be 1, wouldn't it? Do the same thing for 18, and I'm going to go down and do the last one with you. This one right here, remember, we're going to go from left to right. And so on this one, we won't go up, we're going to go down, and we're going to go to the right. So how much am I going down? I'm going down, let's see, that's 20, 30. I'm going down 30, and I'm going to the right. Let's see, 3 to 6 would be 3. So since I went down, it's not going to be a positive 30, it's going to be a negative 30 in it. And then I went to the right 3. That would return to a slope of negative 10, which is feet, over 1 second. Okay, so on a table like this, or on a graph like this, make sure you're putting your labels. Your y is your feet, and your x is your seconds, right? Those labels would go here and here, wouldn't they? So this table is going down 10, right 1, down 10, right 1. Okay, that was a blast, wasn't it? What a great way to start your Algebra 1 classes up by looking at slope. This is something you started doing in 6th grade. Should be a pretty simple lesson. Finish this up and submit it in the assignment today. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. You have not heard this in a long time, but remember, you are amazing. You were created to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.